Joining us for a conversation is Dr. Roger Moss, the CEO of Labrador Gold. Dr. Moss, welcome to the show, sir.
Thanks very much, Maurice. It's good to be back again.
What a great time to be speaking with you today, as Labrador Gold has just announced a new discovery zone with near surface gold. Before we begin, Dr. Moss, please introduce us to Labrador Gold and the opportunity the company presents to shareholders.
Yeah, well, Labrador Gold is as the name suggests, it's a gold exploration company. We did start working up in Labrador in 2017, and we still have a project up in Labrador, a very good project called Hopedale. But back in 2020, we changed our focus to the island of Newfoundland, where Newfound Gold had made a significant discovery, which caused a lot of excitement. And we were really fortunate to be able to pick up a property adjacent to Newfound Gold's Queensway property, which we named the Kingsway, and that's really done pretty well. And I think so. The real value of the company right now is mostly tied up in the Kingsway property, and it's really in the heart of what has become a bit of a gold rush. A modern day gold rush out in Newfoundland.
Well, you say it's done pretty well, but that's really an understatement. You have consistently issued press releases, and they've all come back very favorable, demonstrating your proof of concept here. Let's go on site. Dr. Moss, take us to your 100% owned flagship Kingsway Gold Project, where Labrador Gold is aggressively embarked on a 100,000 meter diamond core drill program, and specifically, take us to the Midway target, where today a new discovery zone was announced, and specifically, I want to focus on hole K22-157. Introduce us to the Midway target and tell us more about K22-157.
Yeah, well, Midway was it's a target. It's actually interesting because it was more of a secondary target, but we did have some anomalous gold mineralization there that we'd been working around and prospecting, and we decided that we had 5 drills on site, so we decided we'd put one on the Midway target, and I think we started drilling there just a few months ago, and we've drilled 3 holes on the project to date. You could see in the news release. We come up with some nice intersections. It's a 6-meter interval of 3.5 grams per ton, and then that had a higher grade interval over 3 meters of 5.71 grams per ton, and that was about 37 meters down the hole, so very close to surface, and that was, for us, it was a really neat, as you say, proof of concept. We knew that there was anomalous gold there, and getting these grades in the third drill hole was pretty good. We were excited by that.
You know, what I found equally intriguing is that there appears to be a potential second mineralized system. Can you expand on that for us?
Yeah, well, as you and your listeners will know, most of our work to date has been targeting the Appleton Fault Zone, which is off to the east of Midway, and specifically the Big Vein target. We've done a lot of drilling at Big Vein, and we've had some very high grade results from that target, and we're continuing to drill there, of course. But the Midway target is about 2 kilometers north of Big Vein, and the reason why I think that it's a second gold system is the host rocks are entirely different. So at the Big Vein and the Pristine target and Golden Glove, all these targets are along the Appleton Fault Zone. The gold there is hosted in quartz veins, and those quartz veins occur in sedimentary rocks, mostly shales of various colors and some coarser grained sediments like siltstones and sandstones. Whereas at Midway, what we're looking at there is gold mineralization hosted in gabbroic rocks, and gabbroic rocks are intrusive rocks, igneous intrusive rocks. So very different type of setting or scenario from what we're looking at along the Appleton Fault and Big Vein. So, and the mineralization that we see in hole 111 is, 157 is not as concentrated in quartz veins. It's more disseminated through the gabbro. So, and we know that it's not this type of gold mineralization in gabbros doesn't just occur at Midway. It also occurs at the Cracker gold occurrence, which is about a 1.5 kilometers to the northeast of Midway. And so we've got at least two sites on a trend that's subparallel to the Appleton Fault Zone, where we have very interesting gold mineralization in these gabbros.
Now, I know you're sitting there very composed, but give us some behind-the-scenes reaction here. How did your team respond to having the news of potentially having two high-grade gold mineralized systems on one project?
Oh, they were excited. I was fortunate to be out there when we got the results, and the first thing we did was pull the core back out and look at it again in more detail and see exactly where the high grade or the higher grades were coming from in that interval. And I think people, the crew there really sensed that this opens up a big part of the property that away from the Appleton Fault, and gives us, as I mentioned, a parallel trend that has shown us that there is potential for gold mineralization along it. So very, very exciting, very exciting.
Now, before we leave the Midway target, I have a multi-pronged question here. How does today's news impact the drill program going forward? What are your next steps, and what can we expect in terms of news flow?
I don't think we're going to alter the drill strategy too much. I mean, the one drill that's drilling at Midway will continue to drill there. That was really our idea, was to keep one drill moving around the property and testing some of these regional targets both along the Appleton Fault Zone and now over at Midway. So there's not going to be a change in strategy there. The other drill rigs will be drilling at the pristine target, Big Vein and Golden Glove. So no real change there. And I think going forward, more drilling at Midway, but we will also really hit that trend or what seems to be a trend of gabbros along the northeast, southwest, with prospecting and mapping, and seeing what other gabbroic bodies we can find that are mineralized. We have some with some anomalous mineralization already, anomalous gold. So following up those will be a priority, and just seeing if we can develop more targets at along that trend in the gabbros. In terms of news, we'll have more news from the drilling, and of course anything that we turn up along that trend will also be part of the news flow.
Now, before we leave the project site, do you have time to talk to us about the HTC zone, where earlier this month you released some very compelling gold assay results?
Yeah, well, that was, as we were just saying, Midway is a totally separate system. So now we're going back to Big Vein, and the HTC zone is part of Big Vein. And we were really happy with the intersection that we had there. It was the longest intersection that we had on the property to date. 6 grams a ton over 19 meters. So I mean, that was a pretty good intersection. Nice widths to that intersection, and then we had within that we had some higher grade intervals. I think it was about 15 grams over 6 meters. So that's a decent hit. And this was only about 120 meters downhole, so probably about 100 meters vertical depth. So still not too deep. So yeah, the HTC zone is developing quite nicely. It's where we have seen a lot of the higher grade mineralization that we've encountered at Big Vein, and this was just another one of those intersections that we were really happy to see.
Well, you just confirmed what I wanted you to actually say, which was that the HTC zone, remains open at depth, and that's exactly what I want you to confirm there. Thank you for that.
Okay. Yeah.
What are the next steps there, and when can we expect to hear more news flow from the HTC zone?
Oh, I mean, we should be getting results, pretty much continuously. We're sending samples to the lab, and they are starting to flow a little bit quicker. The results coming back, so that's a good thing for us. And I would imagine that we'll have results from from Big Vein and pristine targets in the next few weeks. And I think looking forward, I'm optimistic that perhaps some of the longer wait times for assays are behind us, and if that's the case, that'll be really good.
Switching gears, let's look at some numbers. Dr. Moss, please provide the capital structure for Labrador Gold.
Right now, we have about 155 million shares out. We also have about 40 million warrants, most of which are in the money, and about 7 million options, which are also in the money. So altogether, it's about just over 202 million shares fully diluted, I think. So that's what that looks like, and as you know, we're well cashed up. Probably we got about $28 million Canadian in the bank right now.
Now, before we close, Dr. Moss, what would you like to say to shareholders?
Well, I think what I try to focus on is the long term, and we can get caught up in one or two news releases or one or two intersections, but for me, it's a matter of consistently applying our exploration strategy across the property, and we see it working, and so there's no reason to change it. And we're not going to change it. We're going to continue drilling, and we're going to continue developing targets both along the Appleton Fault Zone and now also along this new, let's call it the Gabbroic Zone. So I think that what we've done has proven to work, and we'll continue doing that. And looking down the road as to what the whole property looks like and what the prospectivity of the entire property is, rather than just the Big Vein or the pristine target or the Midway target. So when you put it all together, I think it's the sum is better than the parts, so to speak. And I think we'll continue developing those targets and testing them by drilling for the rest of the year.
Last question, sir. What did I forget to ask?
I think we've covered pretty much everything. I don't think there's much we omitted there.
How about contact details for someone that wants to learn more about Labrador Gold, sir?
Yeah, absolutely. So the website is www.labradorgold.com. We usually put most of our stuff on Twitter, which is @LabGoldCorp, and as always, I mentioned our YouTube site, which you can get to through our website, and that's full of interesting videos, background videos. Some of the videos are taken out in the field, so people can see what it looks like, what we actually do out there, and then my own email is rmoss@labradorgold.com, and I'm always happy to take questions from shareholders or interested parties. So yeah, that's the details.
Dr. Moss, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. Wishing you and Labrador Gold the absolute best, sir.
The information presented on Proven and Probable is provided for educational and informational purposes only, without any express or implied warranty of any kind, including warranties of accuracy, completeness, or fitness for any particular purpose. The information is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, or trading advice, or any other advice. You should not make any financial, investment, or trading decision based on any of the information presented without first undertaking independent due diligence and consultation with a professional broker or competent financial advisor.